Привет, друзья! Hi, I want to make a fairly quick video today, hopefully. Um, I have some plans for future videos, which I'm really going to need a whiteboard for, and I don't have one right now. So in this video, I am going to share with you some tools I use and how I use them for learning Russian, um, mostly just websites. So I'm going to start with ankiweb.net. This is a electronic flashcard app that I was able to download on my phone, but it uses the spaced repetition system. You can read all about it in there, but basically, uh, you can make your own flashcards. You can also download shared decks from online that other people made, but if you don't know who made them, I don't like doing that myself because if I don't know who made those cards, then I don't know if they made them correctly. I don't know how skilled they are in whatever subject it is. So if somebody made some Russian to English flashcards, um, uh, I just don't know if that person made a mistake or not in those flashcards. I just don't think it's a reliable source to use for a language for language apps. But there are some online that are available. I've heard some people have had trouble on certain kinds of phones installing it on there, and I installed it on my phone. Uh, uh, you just go on that website for mobile. You just have to use a mobile website for Anki Droid, yeah, I believe is what it's called. And what it does is you can create a deck of cards, a deck of flashcards, name it whatever you want. And I started out with I just made one called Russian vocabulary, and I put a word on there like table for the front of the card, and for the back of the card, I wrote stole, uh, and so on and so on. So, uh, but I had a lot of one-word vocabulary on here, and what happens after you get a bunch of cards? Say you have 100 cards, it uses the calendar, the clock and calendar on your phone to show you. Basically, it shows you a card, shows you one side, and then you try to figure out what the other side of the flashcard says. Click Show Answer, and it shows you what it was. So you know how hard or easy it was for that word, and you you can choose easy, medium, or hard. And basically, easy might say, okay, easy. Uh, let's see. I'm sorry. Hard, easy, 3 days. Medium, 2 days. Hard, 1 day. And what will happen is if you choose easy, it won't give you that card again for 3 days using the calendar on your phone. It schedules the cards. You control which words are easy for you, which ones are difficult, and um, and you can keep adding more as time goes on. I found with vocabulary though it was very easy because it was just one word. It was very fast. Uh, Table, stool. I'm sorry. Chair, stool, table, stole. Window, okno. Um, and I could go through a lot of cards very quick, and it was easy. So I made another deck called Russian Sentences, and I put in sentences from there that I was learning on Duolingo.com, which is a site that's good for practice, but uh, you really should. It's not going to teach you a language. Um, but I found a really good use for the flashcard app using in RussianLessons.net. which is an instructional website that teaches Russian. But I guess it's a chapter. On the side, you'll see chapter 17 is most used words. Now, a lot of places show the most common words or the top 100 words in a language. They're easy to find. But what this website did is it took the top 100 words in Russian and put a little information about that word and put example sentences, maybe some of them have like 10 to 12 sentences using that word. And I created another deck called Russian Sentences Most Used Words. And this really helped me a lot because over time, I still don't have all of the sentences in there from that, but here's a printout. I don't think you'll be able to really see this, or I'll be able to hold it too still, but the top word is E, which is and in English, but it has all these sentences for that word in Russian, and the translations in English here. And then the next word, the second most common word is V, which means in or into, and on this side you have the English. And they have pages and pages of these words. I'm just going to skip to the back here. Let's see, it looks like I ended up on number 60, Rabota, work. So we have Rabota. Let's see if we can see it there. Rabota is work. The next one is, I can't read this. I'm recording with my phone, and it's like trying to read in a mirror, and I've never done that in Russian. That's really hard. But basically, it has the word. The 60th most common word is rabota, work. Next one is сейчас, now. Время, time. Человек, person. Идти, go, on foot. So I didn't even get up to number 60. I think I'm on number 29 or the 30th most common word. But having those sentences to think about, it doesn't go as fast as a vocabulary flashcard. And this really helped me because this gave me a lot of sentences I could type in myself, and I could control, I could tell it, was this hard, was it difficult, easy, medium, or hard? And over time, I have 538 cards in the deck right now, and of just sentences, and what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. But basically, when it gives me one, like today, I think I had 7 cards due today. But that's all I had, because whichever ones were easy or hard or whatever they were, the schedule was changing. The last time I did those cards might have been 8 months ago. One of them might have been 8 months ago. One of them might have been 10 months ago. I don't really know. But sometimes I'll come across one that is a little challenging. There's a word in there in a while. There may be a grammar issue I don't understand. And in addition to easy, medium, and hard, you can choose, again, it usually says 10 minutes again or something like that. And it'll go to the next card and on the schedule, but it'll put that card on the schedule for today, so it'll come up in that session while you're doing it again. You can look at it again, but your other choice will basically be one day instead of 3 months or 5 months. And on the vocabulary one, when I did it, for example, I had the word znak, which means sign. And I used to drive 50 miles to work every day commuting, and I would basically look at things while I drove and pointed them out, and I would make sentences. Ja widziu znak. Ja widziu krasny znak. I see a red sign. I see a sign. So I knew the word sign really well. It was in the Russian alphabet. Myaky znak, soft sign. Tvordy znak, hard sign. And I knew this word really well. So the first time I had that word, I think my choice for easy was 3 days or something. So I chose 3 days. 3 days later, when it gave me that word again, now it said easy, medium, and hard, but easy was now maybe 10 days. 10 days. And medium was, I don't know, 7 days, and hard was in 1 day. And by saying easy over and over, it kept, but eventually when I would get that card again, it would say easy, 2.1 years. And so the distance of time would just get greater and greater and greater. So it will show you that card again and remind you of those words. And for me, it was a really, really big help. So I used that. That's ankiweb.net, and I used russianlessons.net, number 17, most used words. Go ahead and check that out. Now there are some other things. Here's a little dry erase board I made. I don't know if you can read it, but I'm going to put this up here and clamp it in my vise. Oops. Let's see. Hope you can see that. Let's see. Oh, I don't think it's on the screen. Let me move that a little bit. How about I move the cabinet? Okay. So, I don't know how well you can read it. I have my phone kind of tilted up the way it's set up. But, so here's russianlessons.net. I wrote on here number 17 or chapter 17 or part 17. You can find it in there. Most used words. It has a lot of vocabulary you can learn there. There is ankiweb.net is where you can go if you want to download it on your mobile phone, and just go there on your phone and look at it, read about it. You can research it. So over here, I have cooljigator.com is great for many languages that use verb conjugation. It shows you the endings of verbs and how they're conjugated, and it has it for Spanish and French and Italian and Russian and several others. Now in Russian, they have added. You can click on Russian adjectives and Russian nouns to see how a word declines. And it'll show you the endings of that word, singular and plural, for each of the cases. And you can click on Show Translations or Don't Show Translations, and it'll show you in parentheses under each word in each case. It might say something like in the genitive case, it would probably say of, and then whatever that word is in English. Let's see. Okay, RussianGram.com. I recently learned about this one, and I think this has become one of my favorite tools to use because this puts the stress marks on the Russian words. I use a Russian keyboard from my computer. I use the it's called Russian Typewriter, I think. And oh, I should write that on there. You know what? There's another thing on here that's really cool. It's keybr.com, keybr.com, and it's for practicing typing on various keyboards. I'm gonna have to. I should have wrote that over further. Let's see. Okay. So let me go back to, okay, so russiangram.com. You can go here, you can type in text, click a button that says annotate, and it will, or I'm sorry, you have to type it in Russian, and then click a button that says annotate, and it will put the stress marks on there for you to show you which syllables to emphasize. Now I usually will copy and paste a sentence or a paragraph in here, click annotate, get the stress marks on it, and then once I have the stress marks on those words, I will copy and I will highlight that with my mouse. I will copy and paste that somewhere else. You can paste it in an email, notepad, Microsoft Word, anywhere, anything you can use where you can paste it. And then I like to paste it in Microsoft Word. Actually, I like to paste, if it's short enough, I like to paste it in Google Translate and with the stress marks, and then have the translation show in English, and then I will print that page. I can print that page and just write on it. Write on it any vocabulary or anything I want to do with that. So that's a good use for that. Let's see. Costure.ru. This is for good if you want to practice reading. This was I think it was a children's magazine in Russia called Kostyor, which means bonfire. And I go in here and click, they have categories. You can click on humor, which is humor, and they have a lot of short anecdotes that you can read. It's all in Russian. They have little cartoon pictures. They have a lot of short text that you can read in that section. They also have a section that says skazki, and this is skazki is fairy tales, and this will and then you'll have a list of titles that you can use to